Space Ghost, and welcome to Space Ghost Live. I'd like to introduce my lovely assistant, Jan, and my co-host, Monkey. Say hello, Brett. Well, greetings and welcome here to Free Play, Florida. How exciting is that? Alrighty, let's get right to it. It is awfully quiet. There we go. Now we got some volume. Alrighty. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my first guest tonight is where'd my intro sheet go? Someone lost my intro sheet. They don't know where my introduction sheet went to. That would be nice if I had my intro sheet.
Goodness gracious, Brandon.
There we go.
We're gonna talk real quick.
Right. You can see we rehearsed this thing. Thank you to my other lovely assistant. All right. Okay, let's try this again. All right, now my first guest tonight is a video game designer and artist. He has worked for such companies as Bally and Midway, and he is known for the game Rampage. Now, Rampage was a success that set arcade earning records, and it was eventually ported to more than 25 different platforms and is still prominently featured in Midway arcade compilations for current systems. Please give it up for Brian Cullen. All right. Greetings. Yes, right here, sir. Thank you very much. Good to meet you, sir.
Wonderful to meet you.
Wonderful to meet you. Welcome to the show. Have a seat.
Oh, thank you.
There we go. Our lovely assistant, Jan, everybody.
Let's hear it for Jan.
All right. Okay, so how'd you enjoy your trip in today?
Actually, I came in yesterday and I enjoyed it very much.
Very good, very good. Cool. So where do you hail from, sir?
I'm in the Chicago boonies, outside about 30 miles south of Chicago, and got a nice little wooded acre, and it's cold in the winter and humid and hot in the summer, and
so you get it all.
Love it there. Yeah.
It's a lovely variety.
Yes.
All right. So, now, you have worked in video games since the early 80s, and during that time, you worked on some pretty incredible titles. Can you please give us some of the highlights of those titles?
The highlight of Rampage is R. The highlight of Discs of Tron is D and T. You want me to be more
so we'll just okay. Tell us some of the more iconic games that you've worked on.
The games I'm best known for from those days are the games that I was lucky enough they were letting us do whatever we wanted for the most part, and we had to push a little bit, but the games I'm known best for are the games I design, like Rampage, like Xenophobe, games like Zwackery, which nobody's heard of, but Arch Rivals, Pigskin, those are the games I'm probably best known for. And every one of those games relied on humor and head-to-head competition to, just kind of bring out the most fun in what was a social gaming experience of the day, the arcade.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Now you and your team has received a number of awards and honors over the years. But the one we found most surprising was your introduction to the White Castle Hall of Fame. So my question to you, sir, is how did that happen?
I am in the White Castle Hall of Fame with a couple of co-workers, Bobby LaReza and Bob Montgomery, and we were working with a new game engine, and they were trying to figure out what it could do. Are we going to be able to do some games with this? And I said, okay, so let's make some iconic buildings to start with, because that was kind of the weaker side of the engine, and I'm thinking I'm going to get Eiffel Tower, Big Ben, this kind of stuff. I come back over a few hours later, and they've got a slider. You know, they've got a slider sitting there on the screen in the environment. And I said, okay, fine. And they grabbed a little goblin we had from another game, and somebody else made some little floating sliders floating around the thing. And before you know it, 2 days later, we had this goblin running around grabbing sliders. And because that was one of the first years, early years of that promotion. We sent it off to White Castle, and boy, I mean, my wife choked up when they brought us to Ohio, brought us to the little hallway off the restrooms where on the wall was a plaque with my name on it and Bobby's name on it and Bob's name on it, and she broke down. She broke down. It was just, that's gonna be there forever. Am I kidding, Ray? I am not kidding. That is actually true. It was one. They were wonderful. They were fun people, and yes, I am in the White Castle Hall of Fame.
Well, that's awesome.
How did you dig that out?
Well, we have a specialized team coming up with these questions. All right. So now, Rampage. Tell me about that.
Rampage.
How did it get started?
Rampage was kind of they told me we couldn't do something. So when someone tells me I can't do something, naturally, how can we get that to happen? And Rampage, I've told the story a million times, very briefly. They said we can't do background animation because the hardware would only move rectangles. So I looked at Sharon, the other artist at the time, and said, okay, a building collapsing into itself is animating rectangles. So that's where Rampage came from. The whole part of knocking buildings down and getting rid of urban blight gave me a chance as an artist to make bigger characters so you could see the comedy in their faces, because I'm always about people enjoy games more if they laugh, and more importantly, they'll put it in another quarter if they laugh. So that it all kind of came together. And you know, when I was a little kid, we did not have these things called video games. I had sandboxes, and you make sand castles. And when you're done with a sand castle and you've filled it with your army men, there's only one thing to do, is to stand up and stomp your sand castle back into the sandbox. So that's pretty much everything as succinctly as I can wrap it up.
So yeah, it's, well, when we were little, we used to do paper cities. God, so I would stomp on it.
Ooh, that's good.
So I can identify. Build and destroy. That seems to be our medium. So that's terrific. So George, Lizzie, and Ralph.
Yes.
How did you go about naming these monster protagonists of Rampage? George just struck me. Mice of Men. George. I figured George was not too bright. Lizzie she was a lizard. That's a given. And then my partner Jeff Nauman liked the name Ralph. So, and in fact, if you look at the opening of the game, in the old game, when the computer feed spills out and shows the little picture of the human people, I'm George, my wife Ray was Lizzie, and Jeff Nauman, the programmer and co-designer, was Ralph. So, there you go. If you want to see what I looked like 30 years ago, that's exactly what I looked like. That's terrific. So you're a fan of Mice and Men?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yes, I love that film. Now you're a fan of the original with Burgess Meredith, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. The first. Yeah.
That one's my favorite. Yeah. That one's my favorite.
Yes.
There was a remake that was done.
Yeah, with
Gary
Southern
Sinise
Illinois and
John Malkovich.
Malkovich is
Benton, which was interesting.
Big shout out to anybody here from Benton, Illinois. That's what I thought. Okay. But John Malkovich is. And that was a good movie, but the first was the
first one's classic.
Yes.
I mean, and for those that don't know, Burgess Meredith played the Penguin on the original Batman series back in 1966, and it was also he was the son of the man with 1,000 faces.
Lon Chaney.
So yes, Lon Chaney Jr. Lon
Was-
Chaney Jr. famous for the Wolfman. was the one who had the wonderful role of Lenny, and he did an amazing job with that. So,
yes, he did.
So, well, that's great. It's nice to know that's where the history of that came from. So, so aside from now, Rampage has taken on quite a life of its own, hasn't it?
It has. We did the first one, and then later we left and formed our own company, and the new Williams Valley Midway asked us to come back and do a game that would appeal to a broader demographic. And Rampage always had little kids reaching up and playing and with their parents, and so we said, let's redo Rampage. They loved the idea. So Rampage World Tour, the sequel, the remake actually, had a lot more depth. We could have a lot more fun with it. We did both of those arcade games. And since then, I couldn't even begin to tell you how many. Anybody know how many different Rampages were out there? There are at least a half dozen remakes where they just keep adding more characters and more characters and more characters.
Yeah, that's been around for like what? Because it was what year did it come out?
About 85 is when we did it, so it came out end of 85, early 86, and then we did the sequel around the 94, 95, something like that.
So we're looking at
it all
30,
blurs.
30
It all
years
blurs
it's
these
been
days.
Around. That's quite an accomplishment to have something.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful to come to shows like this and hear people firsthand remember what it did to them, or meant to them as children.
What it did to them? You want to clarify that?
We caught a lot of grief for that. I mean, that game was the first video game in which there were fully naked people on. When you change back into a human, I mean, you were only 4 pixels across, so I defy you to find something, but you were naked, and we got grief for that. I mean, you could eat your friends. We got grief for that too. So I'm glad that it didn't really break a generation, because at the time there was a lot of, this is horrible, this is violent. But really it was an environmental statement. That's what it was. I came from college in the 70s. Urban blight was freaking me out, just there's too much. What's the solution? There you go. Let's knock down these buildings.
So now in knocking down the buildings, you were describing earlier in creating the game, that you said that they said you couldn't do it.
Right.
And so it was your goal to take what technology you had at the time to start knocking down buildings. And then you also said that when you were a kid you were knocking down sandcastles and such. So but where exactly did the inspiration for the game come from? Was it from that childhood memory of knocking down sandcastles?
The thematic inspiration, yes, was being a kid. What's fun? Destroying stuff. But the actual inspiration for the game came from them saying, no, you can't do this with this hardware. So it's like, we can figure out a way to do this. We can figure out a way to do this. So. And then the selfish part as an animator wanting to make bigger figures so I could see their faces. So it was a combination of things. It was a combination.
Well, I can identify with that. I was kind of the same as a child. That my parents would tell me I couldn't accomplish something. Well, first they said you're lazy, and then they said, but when you want to do something, you stick to it till it's done. Because they would tell me I couldn't do something, and that ended up being the very thing I had to do. So when they said I couldn't be an intergalactic crime fighter, well, then there you go. There you have it. This is what you can achieve. Okay. So, now, with the success of Rampage, there's been some talk that there is a movie in production. So, what can you tell us about that? And by chance, would the casting directors be looking for an intergalactic crime fighter?
I've got a relationship, a very special relationship with the producers. I've contacted them dozens of times, and they have, as yet, they're holding back before they actually get in touch with me. So I'm figuring it's because they're waiting for the film premiere or something like that. But actually, yeah, I know nothing really inside about it. The game was picked up by a group about 5 years ago. Every few years they've said it's about to start. Some people know that last year Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson attached to it, so it really looks like it might happen. It was supposed to start filming this summer, but just about a month ago they announced that it's going to start filming next spring. So it's still in the works. Carlton Hughes and a couple of great scriptwriters are working on it. Again, I offered to help. They've not yet reached back to me. I did want to take I want to be proactive though, in case they asked me to do a cameo. I wrote Stan Lee and said, I've never done this kind of thing before. If they asked me to do a cameo, would you play me in the cameo? And like all the other Hollywood people I've dealt with, he hasn't answered me either, so.
Actually, I heard that Stan Lee is planning his immortality. He's already filmed multiple endings to future films to be produced, so that way they can just start pulling cameos of him from a file and just slip them in. Maybe that's something you might want to plan.
That's a great concept.
That's awesome.
So, all right. So, now what are some of the other titles that are well known that you've done besides Rampage?
Well, arcade titles for this group. My first game I ever worked on was Discs of Tron, which is a sequel to Tron. I worked on games like Demolition Derby and Sarge with Jeff Nauman, programmer, who would later become my partner at Game Refuge. Worked on, well, we said Rampage. Games like Zwackery, which it's a very rare game because they only produce like 177 of them. I worked on, one of the great things about working in those early days is I worked on everything. Our programmers worked on one project. Artists got to do this on this project, this on this project, this on this project. So I worked on basically everything that came out of Bally Midway that was developed internally for 10 years. I got to work on Spy Hunter. I got to, admittedly, not everything we worked on we probably should have worked on. I worked on Patooey Louie. You guys have never heard of Patooey Louie because it was a giant red pterodactyl with a bikini-clad cave woman on his back who threw boomerangs while the bird spit watermelon seeds at giant invisible killer bees. Which sounds like it should be a slam dunk, right?
Happens to me every day.
You know, I think in where you come from, it would have done much better than it did here.
Just another day at the office.
Yeah, no, that one right into the toilet. I mean, I've got about 90 titles under my belt today, but I've been doing this for 35 years in February. And, there's been some that are very well recognized and some that, you wish you'd never touched. But those are the highlights of the arcade years. Arch Rivals, of course, Pigskin, Star Trek Voyager, I think was until this year where I just worked on another arcade game, so we're coming full circle. Star Trek Voyager was our last arcade game. That was about 10 years ago, so worked on a lot of games.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. It sounds like you have had a very extensive career, and a very successful one at that.
It's been fun. In a word, it's been fun.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Well, Mr. Colin, I do want to appreciate you coming here on the show and talking with us today. It has been a total joy, and I do hope you will come back and visit us again real soon.
I'd love to come back.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, sir. All right, give it up. Mr. Colin, Ryan Colin.
Oh!
All right.
Therapy session.
There you go. You can just sit there, relax, and just soak it in. All righty. Now, for my next guest. My next guest is, you may have seen in the world of YouTube. He is an internet sensation and also the self-proclaimed CEO of Sega. So let's please give it up for Keith Apicary.
There you go. We'll need her back, Keith.
What?
We will need her back.
I'll put you away now. Sorry, I thought it was going well back there when you were talking to me the whole time. So.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, my next guest now. All right, Keith, come on up, come on up.
I'm single again.
Greetings, sir.
Wow.
Hello, have a seat, have a seat.
Good evening.
Apparently a lot less gravity in this room.
How's it going? Nice to meet you. Our Tribals, the original NBA Jam.
That game parties hard. I love that game. Pulling people's pants down. That's what happened in the real NBA. I wish they took note of your artistry.
We did what we could. Thank you.
You did a lot of good things. I love your games. Rampage, your game freaking rules. You just smash stuff. It's awesome. Right?
Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me in my face. I'm glad to be here. Welcome to looking at me.
Okay. Relax, you seem so tense.
Your girlfriend back there, oh, wow. She was whispering in my ear. Sorry.
Well, welcome to the East Coast. So, tell me, what do you think of Free Play Florida?
I love it. It's awesome. So far I haven't paid anything, so they're living up to their title. Everything's been free. It's been great. Everyone charge everything to room 122 on receipts. It's Brian's room. He'll pick up the tab. It's awesome. I play a lot of games with mashing buttons, chugging all kinds of gigabytes. It's great. I love it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, now, have you seen any games in the showroom that you'd like to take home?
Yeah. There's a game, I don't know what the heck it is. It's like a big birdhouse or something. That was tight, because I couldn't figure out what the heck I was looking at. I like that. It's not very often that you see an arcade game you've never seen before. Does anyone know what game I'm talking about?
Gottlieb Exterminator?
Is that the Exterminator game?
It's a prototype, yeah.
That's why I've never seen it. I'm like, I freaking know stuff.
The guy who did Hubert did that game.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Like recently? In his spare time or something? I've never seen it before. I feel like he just did it yesterday and he wrote it.
Very rare.
Okay, cool. So I'm not a complete moron. Don't judge my appearance. Judge my mouth.
You don't even need me. You just wind him up and he goes.
Yeah, alright. Verbal
I'm
diarrhea.
just going to sit back and watch.
Oh,
All right. Now, I've heard that you have a pretty good collection of games yourself.
I sure do.
So, are there any gems in there that you would like to tell us about?
Duh, everything I own. I have so many modified DMGs in my house I could make a bet out of them. I have a Game Boy store kiosk, super tight. I have an original custom, does not exist anywhere besides my domain, a Streets of Rage arcade cabinet. I know, it's tight. I have an F-Zero AX deluxe cabinet with a full motion seat. It's so cool. Blue Falcon, I think I would love to see you and Blue Falcon go at it in an alley somewhere. That would be amazing. Captain Falcon, I should say.
Actually, Blue Falcon's a poker buddy of mine.
Yeah. Well, what's the name of your ship?
So, the Phantom Cruiser.
The Phantom Cruiser and the Blue Falcon need to have a drag race. That would be amazing. Captain Falcon is a very similar masculine male like yourself. You should Google him. He's tight. His spaceship is in my house right now. I got all kinds of stuff. I got a Geometry Wars cabinet. I got a Mario World pinball machine. I have a vending machine with like all kinds of stuff in it. 7-Up machine from the 90s.
I'm afraid to ask what it depends.
It's just got like cowtails and Hershey's Snickers bars and, you know, the usual. I did put a loose sandwich in there one time. And I wanted to have like a meal. My friends were coming over to watch Royal Rumble, and I feel like I needed to cater to them. It's basically my pantry. It's just a vending machine. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. I got it for $300 off Craigslist, and at the same time I got a 7-Up machine from the 90s off Craigslist, like from the same dude. He's like,
just take care of it. It's like, this is what the guy ate out of, was this little machine.
So was the sandwich wrapped or was it loose? Would it just
It was
like
loose.
fall down
Loose.
and reassemble at the bottom?
Yeah, like when my friend selected sandwich, it fell and peanut butter got all over the glass. It opened up, so it was a bad idea. So don't put loose sandwiches in vending machines, because it doesn't work, and no one's gonna buy it anyways. It's just gonna go stale. And then I also put a loose cup of Sunny Delight in there. That was a bad idea. That was stupid. But I never owned a vending machine. I didn't know how to play it, so I'm used to like video games, not mother caregiving and feeding people, you know. I'm not a caterer.
Okay.
I cause chaos. I don't chug food, I chug gigabytes. Yeah.
Alrighty. So, well, clearly you are a lover of video games.
Oh man, you have no idea. You can see me in my underwear surrounded by video games all over the internet. That's it. And I should stop talking right now. I'm exposing too much about my sad personal life.
What happens on the show stays on the show.
Okay, good.
So what was the first video game console you ever experienced, and do you remember which games you wound up playing?
I sure do. You have opened the wormhole.
Stand back, everybody.
The first thing I played Atari 2600 was the first thing I ever played, and I played Joust was the very first game I ever played on Atari 2600. That was amazing. I got really good at it. Then I played Asteroids. Then we had Frogger on there. And that's all I really remember was playing Asteroids and Joust and stuff. But then after that,
I play Asteroids, but mine's more the live version. We had to go through an asteroid belt just to get here tonight.
See, I could learn a few tricks from you. Your joystick's probably a lot bigger and more powerful than mine is. Mine's like skinny and shiny.
Hey, I walked into that.
I only have one little round thing below it. I'm stretching on this one. I'm reaching.
Back to your first video game. So your first video game. So you played Asteroids. You played what else?
I don't remember because my memory has been erased ever since I got the system of systems, the console king, the Sega Genesis. That I went from Atari 2600 to Genesis. And that blew my mind. That was like, what? I got blast processed and I never came back. So I love the Sega Genesis. Best system ever. So yeah, I mostly still only play Genesis and Neo Geo. Those are like my go-to. I'm a bad boy, you know, I like partying in the streets. And you know, those are the kind of systems for like drug dealers. You know, like someone who's like, don't mess with him. Why? He plays Neo Geo. Like the guys with like no sleeves, you know. That's the kind of stuff I mess around with. I don't mess around with 2600 anymore. Nintendo. Not into it. I mean, come on, look, I'm a bad boy.
And?
Oh, you want to know more games I have?
Why stop now?
I told them back there, I was like, I'm going to be quick, I don't want to bore everyone. I don't know what time it is now, but we're just getting started.
I think Blip is getting a second win, so.
I woke up, I had a Jolly Ranger, blue, great flavor.
Now, Keith, in addition to being the self-proclaimed CEO of Sega,
Guilty.
you also have appeared in a number of music videos.
Oh yeah.
In which you sing and dance. Now,
Yeah,
how
I think
did
we can call it
you
that.
discover these hidden talents?
They're still hidden, they're down deep. I don't know how I pull them out of the depths of my body. I don't think I know how to dance, to be honest. I think I know how to rhythmically convulse. I spaz to the beat, I guess. And I don't know. Thank you. I love you too, mystery man. There's a peeping Tom in here. What are you doing? Oh, it's Jonathan. He was in my panel. He tried to outdance. Speaking of dancing, he tried to outdance me. Failed miserably. Yeah, I just like to dance. Space Channel 5 opened up my world. Ooh la la, literally.
So what kind of music do you usually sing and dance to?
I really like chip tunes, you know. I don't know if anyone's at 10 o'clock tonight. Later on, Boy Without Batteries is playing. He's a chiptune artist. He's a cool dude. I really like Phantom NK, one of the best chiptune artists in the entire world. He's from Sweden. Handsome, young, strapping man who knows how to manipulate a motherboard. I just like chiptunes. I like French pop music.
French pop music.
Yeah, you ever heard the band Yell?
Yeah.
They're great. I like them. They really get you moving. I like dance music. The things I can move to.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yes, in fact, actually, you've done some music videos with Yao.
Yeah, I did that.
With Yao and also with WWE wrestler Dolph Ziggler. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we weren't dancing. I was trying to get him to dance with me, but he was too afraid. Because he knows what happened with
dancing or of you?
No, well, physically manipulating his body. You could call it pain dancing or something. I don't know, destroying him. Killing him with grace is what I would do. Yeah, I got in a little feud with Dolph Ziggler because he bothered me. He just had a big ego and I didn't like it. So I called him out on it, and then he came right back and said better things about me that weren't real cool. So I had said more about him, and then we had this whole feud, and then turned bananas and went crazy. And we still haven't fought, but it's all right. Whatever.
So is this something we can look forward to in the future?
I think it will happen eventually. It will definitely happen. Vincent McMahon.
Raw SmackDown?
Yeah, I think it could happen. SmackDown Live, maybe, or Monday Night Raw. I don't know, it'd be amazing. I was technically on Monday Night Raw because in the very corner of the screen one night, they were like, check out Dolph Ziggler's YouTube channel. And in the little clip they were showing was me falling off my 10-foot bunk bed onto a kitchen table, breaking a bunch of glasses. Because in that video, he used my clip. What is happening here? He's saying, keep talking.
So, well, you've obviously caught his interest, so.
Yes.
So he loves wrestling. He watches it all the time.
Nice. Me too.
Well, he was like, I remember, dude.
Yeah, he watched. He must have watched Monday Night Raw and saw me in the corner of the screen. So, yeah. Anyways.
So now I understand that you also done videos with Kimberly Cole. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was a thing where like.
Okay, maybe not. maybe we'll just let that one stay private.
That was like a weird experience. Has anyone ever seen the dance audition video that I did? If you haven't seen it, just search me, Keith Apicary, dance audition. And what happened was Kimberly Cole, was having an audition for professional dancers out in Los Angeles, California. So I live in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, and what's the big deal? Do you want to be near me? Do you want to be near me? Or you don't want to be near me? Okay, I don't know what he was saying to me. I don't speak ignorance. Sorry, monkey. So I went and auditioned for this dance video, and I thought I was tearing it up. And all these people were not having it because they were like cool and had like cool body shapes and stuff, and were doing all these physical maneuvers to the music. And I did what I did, and then I got in the music video because of it, because I guess I stood out. But it was probably, I was giving out Capri Suns to everyone because I wanted to make sure everyone was staying hydrated. And I brought like bag lunches and stuff, and I was just like concerned about everybody. So I think they were just like, oh, he's really nice. Yeah, we should like put him in a music video because he basically got free lunch for everybody. That's probably why they put me in the video. And I could do some moves and stuff, so whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to avoid this long rant because she asked me something. I can't just say it. I gotta like have you live it with me again. So.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
So the French singer Yao.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about that experience.
She's like a babe from France. I'm a red-blooded man from America. So I just introduced my body maneuvers to her, and she's like, I like what you can do, and then we've made some videos together since. I basically just auditioned my abilities, and she was down with it. So we've done some dance videos together. There's a new video coming out in like a week with us. That'll be cool. It's for a French phrase that I can't say because I don't know how to speak French, but it'll be cool, so you can watch that.
So, and did you sing with her?
No, I'm just in it as like visual pleasure, and she like she's, yeah, you know, like that's what they pay me for. So that she's there for like the audible pleasure, and she's really good looking too. That doesn't hurt, but you're not really noticing when you see my advanced hairstyle on the screen.
So what music videos did you actually sing?
Oh, those are all my music videos for like my songs. I have like all my own songs. That
You write all your own songs?
Sure do.
You're a songwriter.
Yeah, my tongue manipulates the microphone like you wouldn't believe. I have a song called 4 Red Buttons and 2 Joysticks. It's about the Neo Geo. I have a song called Sonic the Hedge Song. It's about Sonic the Hedgehog. Koopa Bounce.
You know, Jay's back on the ship is a big Sonic fan.
Ooh,
he's listening in by radio. Could you hit us with a line or two from the Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh yeah, sure. Let's see here. The chorus is like SONSETHA. Wait, I don't know how to do it with the music. This is gonna be strange. I've never done it. So here's like a little chorus. I'm gonna give you like a. Don't record this and try to make millions off of it and then put it on the internet and bootleg my voice here. Sonic is the best there is. 16 bits of some serious bliss. That's like one line. It sounds like 0.5% better with music behind it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but thank you so much
No
for
problem.
sharing that with us. Thank you for being on the show today.
Well, it sounds like you're done with me.
So, we do have a schedule.
All right.
Well, this has been
I'll just wait until
fun.
the guest is here to take the seat. I don't want to make it look like there's no one up here, so trying to get my money's worth out of this seat right now.
So, well, you're welcome to hang out with us while we carry on and move on to our next guest.
All right.
So,
That looks expensive.
okay, once again, thank you.
Just moving the target.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving right along. All right, our next guest is a hot sauce distributor. And he is also a video game record holder. He is known for his world records in Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. Please give it up for Billy Mitchell.
First of all, I'm not a distributor, I'm a manufacturer. And I'm not a world record holder, I'm the video game player of the century.
Okay, my writer, are you writing this down?
And games of world record
Let's get this right next year.
Games of world record caliber, sure it would be Pac-Man, sure it would be Donkey Kong, but it would be Miss Pac-Man, and Centipede, and Burger Time, and Donkey Kong Jr. Do I need to go on, or we can go on with the interview?
So, oh no, it's pretty cool. It's good to see you.
That's all right. You'll have it correct next year.
Yeah, we'll work on it. You getting all this?
I'm trying my best.
Okay, all right. So that's my writer over there. So yes, this is Blip. He wasn't here last year. Say hello, Blip.
Maybe he won't be here next year. All right, sir.
All right. Now, your signature style has made you one of the most recognized people in the arcade community. Where is the most interesting place that someone has recognized you?
Wow. You know, I've never
First time I've stumped him.
No, I've never been asked that question. But probably the most interesting one was I often run a lot. And I run a long distance. If you remember the movie Rocky, he starts running. Well, I'm just running from my house, and in this particular one, I was going to run 6 miles. I had just started, and the car goes by, and people are beeping, "Oh my God, Billy Mitchell, Billy Mitchell!" And I mean, I'm running. "Hey, dude, you're awesome. We're gonna run with you." We didn't run a half a block, and the guy's heaving. He goes, "No, can I just get a picture?" Sure. So I stopped, and we snapped a picture, and yeah, he didn't make it like a single block. I thought I was going to be Rocky, and the whole crowd was going to start to follow me, but that's only in the movies. A lot of stuff in the movies aren't exactly true. They're embellished just a little bit. Not that you'd be familiar with that, but you know, they're embellished just a little bit. But that was probably the most memorable one.
So, tell me, what initially got you into the arcade scene?
I played a lot of pinball, a lot. Nobody could beat me, sorry. But I love competition. Well, the competition moved from pinball to video games, and that's the competition I wanted. So I started playing Donkey Kong, and I got really, really good, really good, really good. To the point I called Nintendo, and they questioned that anybody could ever get that high of a score. So I said to the big arcade owner at the place I go to, I said, "Where do they have contests on this?" And he goes, "They don't have contests on that." And I go, "Why not?" He goes, "Well, I mean, Donkey Kong's popular." He says, "But I mean, it's not Pac-Man." And I go, "What do you mean? It's Donkey Kong." And he goes, "Yeah, but it's not Pac-Man." So I just looked at him and I go, "Really? Well, I guess I'll get the world record on Pac-Man too." So I did that. So it's just a competitive spirit that I have like this obsession to win. It's not just in video games, it's in a lot of aspects of life.
So now you're well known for Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. What was it that drew you to those particular games?
Without a doubt, I wanted the games that had the most competition. I can take anybody in this room and I can take you out to one of the obscure games out there. You'll play a game and you'll have a world record. And no one will ever submit a score to take the record from you because nobody plays that game. Everybody played Pac-Man, everybody played Donkey Kong, everybody wanted to be the best. So it had the most intense competition. Therefore, to get a world record on that would catapult you higher, and it would give you more competitive recognition.
So it was the exposure and the popularity of the titles?
100%.
Okay, I got that. So were there any other games that you considered taking on but decided against for one reason or another?
No, but since you're on that subject, I'm going to Life magazine in 1982 for the first gathering of competitive. He couldn't be better than me, not a chance. Well, I was worried that I wouldn't get in the Life magazine photo because he lied about his score, and therefore I wouldn't have the world record. So 3 weeks before, I sat down and I started playing Centipede, and I played it 25,047 hours to get a world record to guarantee my place at Life magazine. So then at Life magazine, this guy that was full of sugar, I pinned him down. He was there, he couldn't escape me, he's right there. He got 190,000 points, 190,000 in his game. That would put him in the top 1% anywhere in the world. He would be a total focus in any arcade, 190,000. So there, in front of the cameras of Life magazine, I played after him. And I got 849,000 on my first man. It was that moment that I was forever obsessed with the idea of video game competition and that I had to be the best. That's where it went out of control.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's talk hot sauce. So, how did your hot sauce empire begin?
The golden age of video games was coming to a close. It was 1986, and there was no more organized competition. That's my phone. And the fact of the matter is that I wanted to play video games my whole life, but because I was supposedly older and more mature now, I couldn't. So I took the obsessive personality I gained through video games of having to be the best. And my family had a chain of restaurants, and our main item was chicken wings. And I had this obsession that whatever was created on the market, I could create better. So that delayed gratification and that incredible focus I had that's the direction I steered it. And when I say delayed gratification, I worked it and worked it and worked it. I worked it for 12 years, and in the 12th year, I finally drew a paycheck. That's delayed gratification, and now it's the sole source of my income. So that's what obsession will do for you. Think about what you would do for 12 years and not get paid. Nobody play video games?
That's commitment. That's true commitment. So, well, I spent many years fighting crime without any recognition. But I didn't need recognition, I did it for justice.
And certainly no pay.
And certainly no pay.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So, yes, well, luckily I inherited the Phantom Cruiser, so.
Do you get much following, much fanfare?
So, well, not, I did back in the 60s, but traveling through time is, you know, because when you travel through space at the speeds that I do, the present is never really the present for me. So depending on wherever I land, sometimes the popularity is very high, sometimes people don't know who I am at all. They just look at me and go, hey look, it's Batman! So I get a lot of that.
Well, let me ask you, what I face, and does it relate to you? People see things in the media, they see things in the movie, and 99% or higher of the people find, this many people find it interesting or boring, stupid or funny, intriguing or not. But on the fringe, there's extremities. I get marriage proposals. I don't know if you get them.
That's one or two.
I get pictures that we couldn't show here. I get flowers. That's one side of the obsession. On the other side, hate mail. Ooh, death threats. So,
If I had a dime for every death threat I got,
being that you fight crime, I'd imagine you get death threats.
it's par for the course.
Do you get
it
any?
just goes with the turf.
But do you get any gifts that just show up in the mail? And
Well,
if so, what's your most memorable one? Because I'll tell you mine.
So, well, I did. I've had plenty of cakes baked for me. You know.
Did they hit you with them?
Huh?
Did they hit you with them?
So some, you know, one had an anvil in it. So, but blasted that one with my heat ray, melted right on the spot.
Well, I'm sitting in the office one day, and this big bouquet of flowers show up, and I'm like, and it just has a card. Wanted to make your day, Jamie. And I have no idea who it's from, and I'm looking at it.
It's from Jamie.
That's a hell of a good point. Man, where were you when I needed you? So, but I'm looking at the flowers, and they're different colors. Really odd. And one of them's blue, and I thought, blue. I mean, I know what red means, and different colors have different meanings. Blue. So I thought, whoa. Just so you know, I take the flowers, I bring them home, good guy, I give them to my wife. She goes, what's this? And I go, well, I got these, they were delivered to the office. I showed her the card, and I go, put them on the table. And the next day I'm in the office, and I sit there and I go, Jamie could be a guy. Jamie. So I start looking through emails, and I'm like, maybe this one. The phone rings, and I go, yeah, can I help you? And it's, hi Billy, this is Jamie. It's a woman. And she goes, I just wanted to check, and I wanted to see if you got the flowers I sent. I said, oh gee, yes, thank you so much, I did. And I says, you didn't have to do that. And she says, I just wanted to make you smile, I was thinking of you. And I said, oh, thank you. I says, I brought them home and I gave them to my wife. She put them on a dining room table, and she thought they were real interesting looking, and that went right over her head. She didn't say anything. And I go, you threw me for a loop. I said, I've never seen a blue rose before. Oh, you know what that means, don't you? And I thought, uh-oh. I go, no. She goes, those 4 colors are the 4 colors of the Pac-Man ghosts. I go, oh. But here's the most shocking point. I mean, there's strange people everywhere. Just look left and right, okay?
Not here, huh?
Yeah. But you expect strange things to happen. But never in my life would I have expected that from a reporter who interviewed me. That was a reporter from a newspaper. They stay on such a professional level. It just shocked me. So what'll happen is, about once a year, on July 3rd or July 4th, she'll send me an email. Hi champ, thinking of you. I have no idea, I don't know who she is, what, nothing. But I'll get it every once in a while, but to be honest, July 3rd, perfect Pac-Man day, July 4th, I guess what I represent, is a day that I'll often get odd things. And usually it's fun, and every once in a while it's strange. But that's kind of an important day.
So,
I always
well,
always brace for impact on those days.
Well, that particular one was a very well thought out.
Actually,
Yes.
Billy, we have something for him right now.
Oh, do
Yeah.
What do you mean something?
Well, okay, what do we have?
He's here.
I can take care of this.
Jamie's here?
No, James not here.
Oh, this.
From a country.
These are two girls who did a musical and sent me this on July 4th.
I love America. You can tell by my tie. 'Cause every time I take it off, baby bald eagles cry. 'Cause America and I are so close. Every war feels like I was there. But I can't enlist 'cause there's no way I'm ever cutting my hair. I am America. I pissed red, white, and blue. I am America. Who the fuck are you? I get up in the morning and I take a whiz. I look at my wife and I realize just how lucky she is. Because she married America, she knows she did right. Because she married America, I stuff her for the freedom every night. America, I piss red, white, and blue. I'm America. Who the fuck are you? You know how you put 3 initials in when you win a video game? Well, people ask me, what 3 initials do you use? And I always tell them, it's as easy as looking at me. Look at this. Nope, no, not TIU. It's USA. So I had Latin friends, and I had some Canadian friends, and even some of the brown ones. But I always had to keep America on top. On top. I am America. I'm pissed red, white, and blue. I am America. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, that's two girls that did the King of Kong musical, and it was brought to my attention, and I called them and talked to them, and I think they were like intimidated the first time we talked, but I thanked them, and I made them promise me that what they do, which kind of pokes fun at us a little bit, I made them promise me they wouldn't change anything no matter what, because I kind of live off the negativity. And every once in a while, like I said, I show my wife everything. I can't get in trouble, I'm just too open. So I played that for her, and she laughed. And every once in a while she'll stuff it in my face, because I'll say something like, well, all right, I'll get that done. I mean, you'll be happy with that, right? She'll go, oh, I is. So she knows how to dish it back at me. So, I don't suppose you ever run into those problems, huh? This guy doesn't dish it back at you, huh?
So, well, he doesn't speak English, so no, not really. Mostly he just flings poo around the ship. So.
But no, there's a lot of, it's actually really cool. I had somebody ask me a question I've never had asked, which I didn't think would happen. Like at the last convention, they said, what do you know now, or what do you do now that you wish you knew or you did better in earlier years? It doesn't matter what comes at me, positive or negative, and it doesn't matter how negative. I know how to roll with it. I know how to laugh with it. Nothing. The best part of any show that I do, the most popular one, is called Hate Mail with Billy Mitchell. I mean, I could go on for hours and you'd never stop laughing. And not only do I enjoy it, I antagonize it. You know, if I get a negative phone call, I save the number. I'll come on stage here, if it had the right setup, and I'll call that person back. And I'll say, listen, we didn't finish that phone call. And I'll call them back in front of everybody here. I mean, it might be like a drunken frat boys and things like that. So, we usually got to be careful that there's not any young ears in the room, but you don't got to worry about him. He doesn't speak English.
No, he's fine. He's good. He's seen it all. He's fought a million battles by my side.
We actually, Walter has a file where all the negative emails that are gotten, and you can ask him when he's up here, he stuffs them in a file, and we got them because it doesn't matter what happens. We can roll with it. It's awesome.
Well, that's terrific. That's quite a story. Quite a story. So now, actually, let's roll with that. What are some of the other most unusual gifts you've gotten, positive or negative, that come to mind?
Negative. I had somebody send me a chicken, a picture of a chicken covered in blood. I mean, that was like some school kid. When I was in Japan, I'm on stage. And I can't understand a word going on. I'm at a show with 70,000 people. I'm getting the Player of the Century award. And all of a sudden, the guy's talking next to me. I got no idea what he's saying. Suddenly I see a stampede this way. I thought there was a fire. Maybe I'm supposed to run out the building. So everybody got in a line. And the guy had said, who wants to be the person to shake the hand that did the perfect Pac-Man? So they're all lined up and they're going across. And as they're coming through, they're giving me gifts. I go, oh, thank you. And they got a box here, so I guess they knew it was happening. Maybe it's culture. I'm giving it, and it's going in a box, and it's going in a box. I mean, I got, like, Pac-Man related stuff, like you would think. I mean, one guy gave me a bathrobe. and I didn't wear it. A bathrobe. People came by and wanted me to sign stuff. A guy had a suit on, like this, with a silver marker, and he wanted me to sign his suit. I signed it. I'm saying to the translator, I go, hey, what that kid say? And that little boy say he's never going to wash his hand again. And another one,
not that he ever did anyway.
I go, next one, I go, hey, what that guy say? He said, now he has the magic touch, he will go play the perfect Pac-Man game. So, but being in Japan was really cool because, yes, most everybody's short, and being that I am, I walked and I felt like Hulk Hogan going to the ring, because as I would walk through the crowd would separate. I mean, it was really cool. And they just treat you, they treated me, they couldn't have treated me better. You couldn't get that many thousands of people to fake that. And if you couldn't get them to fake it as well as they did. It was so touching. You know, that was, without a doubt, the highest point of my illustrious video game career. So let me ask you, of your illustrious career, what's the highest point, the most memorable, the most flattering, the one that's just unmatched by anybody in this audience?
I would have to say the day that I adopted Jan and Chase. They have been my trusted compadres for quite some time. So many thanks goes to those two. They've bailed me out of a lot of tough spots. They've given me more than I could ever repay. And they also are the only ones that clean all the poo off the ship that's flung around by Blip here. So I want to thank you for coming on to the show tonight. It's wonderful seeing you again. I certainly hope you'll come back.
Next year?
Next year.
Will you be here? You're
I
gonna move
will
in
be
time.
here.
All right.
So I will fly in and we will do this again.
All right, I'm gonna go sit there. I hope somebody got like a I don't know, tranquilizer or something? when this guy gets out of line, how do you calm him down? He needs some over there.
So, well, we can do the same thing. We'll just shoot him with a tranquilizer.
All right.
Free snack.
All right, thank you again. Fashion sense of yours. So now when people picture Walter Day, it's inevitable that they imagine a striped referee uniform. So how did that come about, and when did you purchase your first shirt?
Just a couple days ago.
That only happens to him.
The striped shirt. Just a couple days ago, I gave a trading card to the president of the university that's in my community. It's a community-based trading card set. And he looks at me and he says, because I wore this, he says, "Oh, I see you have your prison shirt on." So the striped prison shirt has been worn by me now for about, well, I wore it in 83 originally when we had what some people consider history's first video game world championship, which was on That's Incredible. So I wore the referee shirt then. But then I really started wearing it in 1996, all the time. So it's now in November of 1996. In fact, in 2 weeks, it's 20 years ago that I sat down for the first time ever to write the official Video Game and Pinball Book of World Records. So it's 20 years ago that I started writing all that stuff in November of 1996. So 20 years now for the referee shirt.
Ah, that's quite a long time. That's quite a history. There you go. So,
Shirt.
now, it's fair to say that you know more about the arcade than most people. Are there any specific video game titles you might say is essential for any video enthusiast?
Describe an enthusiast. Someone who's a collector who has a lot of money, someone who wants to just play the games, someone who wants to invest in the games. There's so many ways to answer that. But if I were to have a basement arcade, I do have a basement. If I were to have a basement arcade and I could have space for maybe 25 games, I personally like, this is my own personal list, I like things that are more thought-provoking and more strategy-oriented. So I would have things like, I love Mousetrap, I love Wizard of War, I love Miss Pac-Man even more than Pac-Man. I love Astarak. I'd pay 25 grand for one if I could find one. What do I like? I like Robotron. That's probably the wildest one I like. That Centipede I like. Some more maze-oriented, strategy-oriented games I would choose. So really that list would be different from one person to the next, because it's really how you feel and really how each person has a different kind of energy. Each person has a different kind of mind. They have a different amount of eye-hand coordination, fast reaction time. So they automatically will gravitate to something that is most comfortable to them, that fits with their rhythm of how they think, how they feel, and their energy level. So one person's list is going to be completely different from another person's list. And if they were to analyze it even deeper, you find out that you have a psychological orientation to color schemes and impulses and stuff like that. So one person might love a game that has a blue theme on the screen, another person might have a green theme. There's so many ways that your list of favorite games is just going to bubble up and form in your mind because of all the different characteristics you will have as an individual. Because your nerves and your brain and all that kind of stuff play the complete role in what you will choose for your list of games. You be quiet. Okay, anyway. So that's probably more of an answer than you expected. Okay, I'll repeat it.
So now we are, as I see by our timekeeper back there, we are running a little short on time. So, but I do have one final question I do want to ask you about, that you are an accomplished musician. So when did your passion for music begin?
Well, I've always loved music because in 1973, I had a girlfriend who played an album for me of Scott Joplin music. Ragtime piano, the kind of music that was in the movie The Sting, where most people remember from. And I said, this is incredible. And I had never sat down at a piano before. So I went and got a piano, and I sat down. I bought a book of music with all that music in there, and I figured out how to read the music, then I figured out how to play the songs. By the time I was through, I could play 38 of them, and I used to give big concerts in Spain, France, Switzerland, Iowa, Massachusetts. I used to play ragtime, just like you hear on the records. Exactly, I could play it and sound as.
Next year, I want a piano in the room. We got that? Someone please take a note. We need to get a piano.
Oh no, I can't play them anymore. I forgot them because I stopped playing back around 1985. And so I think I could play a little bit of the Maple Leaf Rag, but it would be very clumsy.
It was only 31 years ago.
Only was 31.
Only.
But in 1985, another girlfriend I had one night called me up and said, Walter, I've secretly been seeing a friend of yours. And so it completely broke my heart. Our relationship was over that night. Yeah, she started dating him. So essentially, she's still with him. Okay. So essentially, our relationship was over, of course. But about 10 days after that happened, I started having that really interesting experience of suddenly hearing music come up. Music and lyrics and song ideas and melodies and rhythms and all sorts of stuff. Then whole orchestration started coming up. I started hearing stuff like I was listening to a radio, but it was all songs that no one had ever written. They were like original pieces. So I sang a whole bunch of them on the tape recorders, and I played them on the guitar and on the piano. By the time I was done, it all came out. It was 138 songs. So, and you've heard some of them in The King of Kong and Chasing Ghosts and stuff like that. So my big plan now is I'm moving away from being completely involved in video games to start working on music. Don't listen to them. Because that's my heart's desire. That's what I want to do next. I want to produce music and also write a musical. So those are my own personal goals.
Yeah.
And
Go for it. I don't want to discourage him because I want him to do that. But the idea he's going to move away from video games, he first told me that in 1985.
Okay, but here's what's interesting.
Baby steps now, Walter. Baby steps.
Yeah, here's what's interesting about it for me. You know, it was very challenging to do all this video game stuff over these 30-some years, you know, and the music thing. It's almost like in some ways it's such a big challenge to get smart enough to write a musical, to get smart enough to write novels. I want to write science fiction novels too. A lot of things I want to do that are going to completely challenge me and really have to make me become better and better and smarter and clearer and more dynamic and more creative. And it's a challenge I really relish because it's really over my head. But there's no way I'm not going to take the challenge and try to do this stuff and actually do the music and do the musical and do the writing and do the novels and all that stuff. So to me, that's the best part of it, that it would make me have to become so much better in every way than the person I am right now, that it's every worthwhile the effort to try and make it happen. Anyway, that's my final thought on that.
All right. Walter Day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Well, that's it for our show tonight. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'd like to thank all my guests again. Brian Colin, Keith Apicary, Billy Mitchell, and Walter Day. Give it up for them. Let's hit that theme song one more time.